All right, everyone, if I can just draw you back. And as I said, I hope that our first kind of part of the lesson has just got you thinking differently or different ways that you can communicate. Okay, don't feel like you're pigeonholed into one way. So just take the time. Now the benefit is that you don't have to decide straight away. Okay, and you can still go through your planning process without necessarily having decided yet how you will present it. Okay, so I don't sort of want people just sitting there for kind of 40 minutes not doing anything because they haven't decided yet. I want to just talk to you quickly about the planning process, and this is effectively kind of guiding our work for this week. Okay. The first thing I just wanted to draw your attention to was this. There's sort of two options as to how to go about it. Okay. One I kind of say is like a key finding approach, where essentially you think, through my folio, this was my question, and what were the most significant things I discovered in relation to my question? Yeah? And then I'm going to base my paragraphs on those findings, So the most important thing I found in relationship to my question was this. That's paragraph 1. The second most important thing I found out was this. That's paragraph 2. You know what I mean? So it's sort of based on your understanding of your topic and what's the most important elements of your answer. The second option is the sub-question approach, and some of you might have, this might better suit the process you followed in your folio, but the guts of this is saying, okay, here's my big question, and I'm going to answer that question by answering these little questions. And each paragraph is going to sort of focus on each of those little questions. And having answered all those little questions, that will answer my big question in the end. You know what I mean? So those are the two ways I'd kind of consider what works best for you. And there's a little bit more description in there to go with. On Daymap, there's a couple of resources for you that you can start looking at today. There's two different ways of going about planning. The first template is one that was created within this school, and it looks like this, okay? And it's a pretty simple sort of setup, okay? I don't think plans need to be overly complicated, but this one, as you can see, kind of lends itself towards that sub-question approach. So other teachers might say, oh, there's only one way to do it, and that's about sub-questions, okay? But, you've got a couple of choices here. But just recognising here, so you can see this is just about saying, before you start, paragraph 1, what question am I addressing, what's going to be the key thing I'm going to share, and what sources are going to be in it. This is about organising your information. This is what I want you to do for this week. I want you to take everything in your folio and I want you to organise it sort of into chunks that are going to become the key points that you talk about. Yeah? So what sources relate to what? What are you going to synthesise together to make your point in paragraph 1 versus paragraph 2? All of this kind of stuff. And it's got some dot points up there just to sort of help you bring together the elements. That's a really good, simple plan that I would definitely encourage using. The other version I've got is just this one here. So this is one I've used at a previous school. And it's a really similar sort of concept. But you essentially kind of say here, like in this paragraph, here's what I'm trying to get across. This is the content, so I'm going to be talking about blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Here's the evidence, and that might be collecting it by just saying I'm going to use this video or this quote or this, or this, that, okay? And it just sort of helps you, when you're putting your outcome together, and different students work differently, but it sort of just helps you have everything together so that when it comes to actually putting it together, you don't have to spend 20 minutes then going and finding a quote and then coming back and then going and finding a particular part of a video. And, it just allows you to sort of have everything in place so that when it comes to putting it together, it's more like assembling it. Yeah? And down here is where you put the relevant references. Okay, so it's a similar thing to what we did last time on the other one with the source 1, source 2, source 3. A similar kind of element. Why I think planning is really important, this is an example of a plan, okay, so this is one that I did, and in this case it's a different question to what I've done before, but my question is, how does the research project benefit independent learning skills? This is what I'm going to try and say in each section, so being able to just summarise the guts of each paragraph or section is really good, just to be able to say it like, oh, the first paragraph or the first section's about this, this and this, okay? Here's the quotes I'm going to be using, and if I go down here, here's the substantiation. Now, why I think planning is really important is this, okay? I write down here, based on this model, okay, I've planned it out. I can already gather a sense of how effectively I'm meeting the assessment requirements. As you can sort of see here, paragraph 1 only features a single source. Even though I've got like 5 or 6 quotes I'm going to use, they're all from the same source. Yeah? So this suggests that the substantiation of my information is only based on some key findings. So straight away, even if that was the best paragraph or section ever, I'm going to get a C for it. Yeah? So before I've even started writing it or creating it, I already know sort of what my grade's going to be for it. You know what I mean? So the guts of this is just making sure that you think in advance about, like, do I actually have enough here to get a decent score, or am I setting myself up? Okay? A lot of students make the mistake of going, oh yeah, outcome, they open a Word document or a whatnot, or get their phone out, start filming, and they just start typing. Yeah? And they just get however many words down and say, there you go. But then, like, the key things I'm looking for is, okay, so how much have you synthesized in this? Oh, I didn't think about that, I just sort of wrote it. How much substantiation have you spread over? Oh, I didn't think about that, you know? So be really careful. Planning, I think, is really good. So you've got 2 different models you can potentially use. I don't mind if you use either one or if you make up one of your own, but I think a plan's going to be a really good way of making sure you've met the criteria before you even start. The really good thing about the plan is this could be a plan for a video or for an essay or for a magazine article or anything else like that. Okay? In any case, I think you should be thinking of sections. Like, my video will have 3 sections to it, my essay will have 3 paragraphs to it, my magazine article will have 3 subheadings to it. However you're thinking about it, organise your information this week. You don't have to have decided what format you're going to present it, but you need it organised. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, cool. So all of those things are up on Daymap, including examples of things you can look at, and the Weebly, as I mentioned, also has some extra stuff on there. Extra exemplars, if you haven't looked at them already. I can go to the outcome. I've got outcome overview, synthesis and substantiation, multimedia outcome presentations, referencing guides, and planning your outcome steps and stages. Okay, it's a great resource. Is there any questions about any of this before we now transition into our individual progress and work? Going once? Going twice? Sold. I think we're all good. All right, let's get into it, everyone. So planning is your focus for this week.